Hello there, Tony Linus with the October 20 Australian Market Report for ABN Newswire. And optimism over US corporate performance. Wall Street hit new highs for the year over optimism of the corporate earnings. The rise was led by Caterpillar, as a broker said it was among the best positioned companies to benefit from improving global growth and spending on construction, infrastructure and commodities. The Australian share market today delivered a strong opening after the US market rally and rises in base and precious metals prices. Yesterday, the local market closed lower, weighed down by a sell-off of financial stocks sparked by disappointing US corporate results. The benchmark S&P ASX 200 index fell 0.9% at 4,792.8, while the broader All Ordinaries lost 40.8 points or 0.84% to 4,801.8. In terms of key economic facts and figures, Reserve Bank Assistant Governor Philip Lowe says that most home buyers understood the setting of monetary policy over the last year was unusual, so it won't cause them any difficulty as they've factored that into their budget considerations. He also says the exchange rate would be higher than it had been over the past couple of decades. In economic news today, the RBA releases the minutes of its October 6th monthly board meeting. The Australian Bureau of Statistics releases international merchandise imports data for September. Turning to mergers and acquisition news now, SBS has agreed to buy out Kerry Stokes' and ABN News and Media's Australian radio network from their 14-year-old pay television venture Pan TV. Energy Developments has rejected a $415 million Australian dollar takeover offer from private equity group Pacific Equity Partners, claiming it undervalues the company. The company also revealed it ended talks with an international infrastructure specialist fund manager, which had offered to buy the group's landfill gas power generation interests in France and Britain after terms couldn't be agreed. Now, important corporate news. And gambling conglomerate Tabcorp Holdings says sales grew by 4.4% in the 3 months ended September 30. Tabcorp expected conditions to remain challenging for the remainder of the year, with the economy in the early stages of a recovery, intensifying competition in the wagering market and a ramp-up in construction activity at Star City. Oil Search has terminated the sale of a 3.5% stake in the $15 billion PNG liquefied natural gas project to Abu Dhabi's IPIC. Oil Search will now source $895 million Australian from a capital raising that will dilute the value of its shares. It says the deal won't be able to be completed to meet ExxonMobil's preferred target date. That's partly because the Australian Securities Exchange says shareholder approval will need to be sought for the deal to proceed. Australian Competition and Consumer Commission has given a conditional green light to an ASIANO-led joint venture handling motor vehicles and general cargo at terminals at 5 Australian ports. The AAT joint venture is owned by ASIANO and an alliance of the Chris Corrigan-backed Kaplan Funds Management and Dubai-based DP World. The conditions to impose on the joint venture include a mechanism that ensures other stevedores can access AAT's terminals and a dispute resolution process. Bell Financial Group's profits surged 52% in the 9 months to September this year, benefited from a large number of companies going out to raise capital, either for new investments or to repair balance sheets. Bell Financial says it also benefited from increases in daily trading activity. Woolworths today reported a 7.4% rise in its first quarter sales to $13.4 billion Australian, excluding the impact of petrol sales. Total sales was up 4.2%. Woolworths Chief Executive Michael Luscombe says consumer confidence levels and therefore spending are very difficult to predict for the 2010 financial year. The company maintains its sales outlook for the full year of an upper single-digit growth. Ear implants company Cochlear said its business outlook is positive going into the 2009-2010 year. The company's Nucleus 5 and BP 100 devices launched in its first quarter in Europe and the US had received very positive market reaction. The new products will support growth for the fiscal year 2010, with growth biased towards the second half. I'm Tony Linus and this has been the Australian Market Report for ABN Newswire.